morning of March 23rd, 2015, an employee who worked at Mississippi's one last remaining abortion clinic showed up for work that day. This is what she found. Security cameras ripped off the walls, an expensive generator that the clinic had been mandated by law to have. It had been vandalized. The alarm was going off inside the clinic. This was the security camera footage that we aired that night on this show, showing what appears to be the person who attacked the clinic with something that looks like a hatchet just before the cameras all went dark. After that attack in 2015, one of many the clinic has endured, that one last abortion clinic in Mississippi stayed open. The people who work there have painted it this bright Pepto-Bismol pink as a symbol to the world that they're not going to be scared out of doing their jobs. They're not going to cower. They've adopted the defiant motto, "This clinic stays open." Well, now that clinic, the Jackson Women's Health Organization, is at the center of a Supreme Court case that would not just target that one clinic, it would end the right to abortion in this country as we know it if its proponents get their way. Joining us now is one of the people who is involved in that fight. Nancy Northup is the president and CEO of the Center for Reproductive Rights. The case against Mississippi's abortion ban that was just accepted by the Supreme Court today was brought by her organization. Ms. Northup, thank you for being here tonight. I appreciate your time.
Thank you for covering this. It's important.
Let me ask if I've messed up anything in terms of the way that I've explained it, and also ask you why you think the Supreme Court has chosen today to make this decision.
Well, I think, Rachel, you set it up exactly right. It is alarming that the Supreme Court took the decision today to take the case from Mississippi. Mississippi passed this law in open defiance of all Supreme Court precedent going back to Roe versus Wade. So we're talking about almost 50 years. And they did it as a test case to try to get the Supreme Court to take it and overturn Roe versus Wade. And, there's no way that the Supreme Court can rule in this case for the state of Mississippi without, in fact, gutting the core protections of Roe's core holdings. And, that is going to any upset of Roe versus Wade. We are looking at about 50 states half of the 50 states in this country that would recriminalize abortion and ban abortion. Many are poised now to do that with their trigger bans. And 70% of the U.S. population wants abortion to be safe and legal. So this would be a radical move by the Supreme Court, and we just simply can't let it happen.
Is this a story that is already foretold? Is the decision by the Supreme Court to take up this case essentially them communicating what their ultimate ruling is going to be? Or will it matter how it's argued and the way the justices determine this amongst themselves in terms of how this is going to go? Do you feel like you already know how this is going to end?
Absolutely not. We absolutely do not think that the fact that, it takes just 4 justices to want to grant a Supreme Court review of the case. Of course, it takes 5 justices to render a decision. And look, it's going to be a tough case. We won a Supreme Court case, the Center for Reproductive Rights, back in June of 2020, less than a year ago. But of course, the court has changed since then. The passing of Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the rushed confirmation of Justice Amy Coney Barrett. But nevertheless, for 50 years, the Supreme Court has recognized that this highly personal decision about whether or not to continue a pregnancy is a decision for the individual to make prior to viability. And they have reaffirmed that again and again and again. So this is one of those precedents upon precedent. But not only that, it is part of the entire fabric of constitutional protections for this zone of decision-making. So it's not just this case about abortion. It's about the constitutional protections around who we marry, the decisions we make about our families, and decisions about contraception. So the court can't just pull out one thread. And I think when this case is briefed and argued in the Supreme Court, it's going to be clear both what the stakes are for a radical, this is taking rights away. This isn't a case about looking at a new right, but taking away a right that's been protected for 50 years, but also what it would do to the entire fabric of the constitutional law. So we will be making that case to the Supreme Court, and we absolutely also need the public out there making their case that they are not going backwards. We are not going backwards on rights protection in the United States.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.